Welcome to People, Power, and Politics. Hard talk, riveting interviews, community updates, in-depth analysis. That's People, Power, and Politics. We tell it to you as it is. No holds barred. You are the people, you have the power. We bring you the politics. To listen to our show, be a guest, or to advertise, visit www.pppradio.nyc. That's www.pppradio.nyc.
A very warm welcome to everyone. We are joined by a very special guest, Christopher Williams, the founder of Heart, Body, and Soul Incorporated. Welcome. So good to have you here with us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. So can you share with us the personal journey that led to the founding of Heart, Body, and Soul, Inc.? How did your health challenges shape your vision for this organization?
Sure. So back in 2021, I was diagnosed with cancer. So I was specifically diagnosed with appendiceal cancer or cancer of the appendix. I also had a second heart attack in October of 2021. Mm-hmm. So I say second because my first heart attack was actually in 2015 when I was 42 years old. So those health challenges for me were a sign of what was happening to other men like me in our community, specifically in the black communities, mm-hmm. right? Or I should say communities of color, because men, as I started studying and realizing that we were more at risk of heart disease, colon cancer, prostate cancer, and were diagnosed at alarmingly higher numbers and unfortunately dying at higher rates than men of other persuasions, whether you're talking white men, Asian men, or anything of that sort. Mm-hmm. So, as I was laying there dealing with all these different challenges, I started thinking, what can I do to change this? I had friends, while I got diagnosed, I had another friend who was also battling cancer, and his was pretty bad. And unfortunately, he found out at a late stage. So again, I kept repeating in my head, what can I do to make sure that this doesn't happen to someone else? And then that's when the idea came to me, not specifically for the foundation of Heart, Body, and Soul, but for the event that I started doing, the Black Man's Health Festival, which was geared towards bringing about awareness, supporting, uplifting, and celebrating black men. As I developed that idea, I said, well, I need an organization to put it forth and to run it and so forth. So I need to run a nonprofit, and that's when it was born.
Okay. So Heart, Body, and Soul, Inc. promotes holistic well-being among black men in underserved communities. In your experience, what are some of the unique cultural or societal factors that contribute to the reluctance of black men to seek medical care? And how does your organization tailor its approach to address these specific challenges?
So we all know, especially I'm from Jamaica, right? So that's, you could be from Jamaica, you could be from Haiti, you could be from Belize, you could be from anywhere in the Caribbean hemisphere, right? Mm-hmm. Or you could be African. Or you could be African American. The bottom line is we all have this, as men, this bravado, this desire, this need, and especially society has imposed on us the importance of being strong, not complaining, being tough, what they say, manning up, so to speak. Yep. So there's this need to push through the pain, push past the pain, and continue to achieve and achieve and achieve and not pay attention to our health. It also happens, by the way, with black women. So let's not forget that. I just didn't address that or focus on that because as a man, it's not my space, right? But I respect and support all the efforts to make sure that there's change in that area as well. But I say all that to say what's happening is that because of those issues, those challenges, we don't do oftentimes what we should be doing to prioritize our health. Add to that the fact that there's a distrust of the medical system when you talk about what was done to us back during I'm sure many people have heard of the Tuskegee experiment and so forth. So you're familiar with what happened during that time where black men were, had syphilis, were given syphilis, and they just watched them and left them. Then even recently, as people have concerns about things that have happened with COVID and how they felt that was mismanaged. So there's a continual or a continued distrust of the healthcare system. So what we do is, one of the things we do is really introduce the notion that we only have one body, which is not a notion, it's a fact. We have one body, right? If we don't take care of it, how do we love and take care of the people that we say matter to us? So we have to prioritize our health, mental and physical. And a lot of what we do is really we spend time focusing on pouring into men. By that I mean giving them a feeling of relaxation through yoga, through meditation, through massage, all these traditional forms of healing. And then they're more open. I was going to use the word susceptible, but more open to the idea of listening to other things that they could do, like colon cancer screening or prostate cancer screenings and things of that nature. We've working with hospitals like Memorial Sloan Kettering and Weill Cornell. They have seen an increase in, when they're on site with us, in men expressing an interest in doing the necessary tests. So we know that this is something that works well, and we continue to do that by partnering with other organizations.
Okay. And you have that festival once a year?
I have the festival once a year, but the nonprofit has a series of events throughout the course of the year to raise awareness.
Okay. I like that, pouring into men.
Yes, that's what needs to be done. It's not beating them in the head with a stick. It's not telling them you have to do this or a frying pan, right? It's not telling, but it's stressing the importance of taking care of you. That's what we want them to feel. We want them to love themselves, right? By not loving ourselves, we miss opportunities.
And I like what you mentioned about, the concept of, if you can't take care of yourself, how can you take care of the ones that you love? Because then you're not going to be in a position to be there to take care of them, whether it's, emotionally, physically, or financially or otherwise. So we spoke about the health disparities among black men and accessing health care and all the challenges and the mistrust. Are there any specific barriers that you have identified in your work, with Heart, Body, and Soul, and how do you work to overcome those obstacles?
So some of the challenges that we see and that people have expressed they face are lack of access to quality health care. So one of the things that I know is being addressed, and it's being addressed by a number of people, politicians and those who are in positions of power, is the quality of the hospitals in underserved communities, the quality of the healthcare facilities in underserved communities. That needs to improve. There are a number of facilities, and I'm not going to name names because the goal is not to tear them down, but work on ways we can build them and improve them. But the bottom line is there are institutions in our communities that need improvement so that people going to these hospitals, people that look like us when they go in, can be treated the way they deserve to be treated, which is treated well, treated like patients who need help and are listened to and taken care of. So one of the things that we try to do is bring these other, what some may call Ivy League hospitals into the community, because a lot of times people feel that, oh, I can't go to Memorial Sloan Kettering, I can't afford New York Presbyterian or Weill Cornell. But that's not true. You actually can, and these hospitals have programs in place to help underserved or underinsured, I should say, uninsured or undocumented folks in need. So one of the things that we make sure that we do is when we do our events in the community, we bring those hospitals there, give people an opportunity to have conversations with them, and also advise them of the numerous options they have. And so those are just some of the things that we do. Then I also work to find other organizations that are doing things like, for example, let's just say you got diagnosed with prostate cancer. Maybe they have money available to you to help you pay your rent or pay whatever bills are backed up. So these are the things we want to make sure that we do on a continuous basis so people know they don't have to suffer through what they're dealing with.
There is help.
Yeah, there is help.
Okay,
Exactly.
great. So, talking about help, what role do you see community engagement playing in achieving the mission of HBS? And how do you involve the communities you serve in shaping and participating in your programs?
Absolutely. So we're building out some things now that we can get communities, the community more involved in what we do. But part of the way the community can get involved is by making sure they make the necessary statements needed to their council members, the people in legislature, right? The people who are responsible for policies and laws and things of that nature. That's why voting is so important. Not just the presidential election, but voting on the city level, on the state level when it matters, because that's really where it matters. Because these are the people who dictate what happens in our community, who can set the necessary wheels in place, the wheels in motion to make sure that we get access to quality care. So, a lot of what we do is at least have these conversations within the other organizations we do so that we can also rally to have conversations with these council members and these assembly members so that they're aware of what the needs of the community are. And on a regular basis, separate and apart from Heart, Body, and Soul, I'm in touch with a number of these politicians, and so they know, and the conversation is being had that we need to prioritize the quality of care in our community and make sure that our people have access to it. Because this is not just for black men and black women. This is for everybody. Everybody in underserved communities needs access to quality care, and it has to start now. It has to get better.
For sure. So, could you share a success story or anecdote that illustrates the impact of Heart, Body, and Soul Inc.'s efforts in improving the healthcare outcomes of black men in underserved communities, and how do those stories motivate your ongoing work?
So I've had conversations with a number of people, right? And obviously, I can't name names, but I can tell you a story of a gentleman who I know who was having issues that concerned him, chest pains that concerned him. And through our conversations, because I'm someone who's had 2 heart attacks, unfortunately, I advised him to go to see a cardiologist. He saw his cardiologist. The cardiologist dismissed it as anxiety. I told him no. I said, absolutely not. We need to make sure that this is properly investigated. So I encouraged him to do more digging and get his cardiologist to do what's called a nuclear stress test, which essentially is just is a stress test done with more imaging, right? So that made them come to the conclusion that there really was something wrong. They continued to monitor him, and it turns out he had to have heart bypass surgery. Wow. So, through our advocacy and through us really sharing and teaching others how to advocate for themselves, we've seen a difference. That's just one story. There are other stories of men with prostate cancer or men with issues in their prostate. They're not sure, where we stress the importance of what they need to do, the actions they need to take. We've connected people with doctors, with oncologists at Sloan Kettering and other places. And we do this not because we want any accolades. We do this because if we're not helping each other get the answers, then how do we ensure our survival? So it is necessary. I've been through some nightmarish things, and I don't want anybody else to go through that. So the work that we do really matters in terms of being able to help others to get to a better place.
Well said. So, looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for Heart, Body, and Soul Inc.? How do you envision the organization growing or evolving to better meet the needs of the communities it serves?
That's a great question. So I would say for us, the goal of Heart, Body, and Soul is to be a national organization. So we're based in Brooklyn, but as I like to say, we're not bound by geography. A lot of the work that we are doing is work that we want to extend to other cities. Mm-hmm. So we could be in D.C., we could be in Philly, we could be in Baltimore, we could be in Atlanta, we could be in Chicago. It doesn't matter. For us, what matters is we reach as many members of underserved communities nationally as we possibly can. So what we do see for us is growth. That means growth in numbers financially. We have to fundraise. We have to raise not a few $1,000s, we have to raise millions. So the work that we're doing is work that's necessary, and it's the work that is required to change our outcomes. Black men, as Black women as well, are dealing with issues where they're attacked. We're to say we're under attack may sound like, oh, you're being a little bit sensational. No, we
Please
are.
be sensational.
Yeah, no,
be
no,
dramatic.
yeah,
It's
no,
happening out there.
yeah, it is happening,
It
and
is.
so to ensure that our Black men can be around to support their communities and uplift their communities, then we need to do what's necessary to heal them. By healing Black men, we put Black men in a position to support, uplift, and celebrate and do what they need to do for Black women and the children. So it has to start somewhere. So it might as well start here. And I, my dad, my mom, God rest her soul, has always said and really expressed to me the importance of, don't just talk about the problem, find a solution. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, so it's a lot of good work that you're doing. It's
Thank you.
needed work. How have you been able to support that work? How can one support the work that you're doing?
Sure. So you can log on to our website, which is iamhbs.org. So that's iamhbs.org. By going to our website, there's a donate button. You can donate to help us continue to do the work that we do. We've been fortunate to have received a few grants. We're working with organizations like Nike, who's been supportive of the work that we do. And of course, like I said, Memorial Sloan Kettering and Weill Cornell are supportive of the work that we do. And we'll continue to find grants that can help us meet our needs, and corporate donors, as well as the people in the community that can support us on a regular basis to do the work that we do. Some of the things we plan to do is expand into being able to go mobile into the community and do different health screenings, and have locations that we own where people can come in for the necessary help that they need. We want to make sure that we are visible and we're present in all our communities.
All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Christopher Williams,
Thank you.
founder of Heart, Body, and Soul, Inc. You've taken something that happened to you personally, and you've turned it into a blessing for so many other people.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank
You're
you.
so very welcome.
Thanks for having me.
People, Power, and Politics. Hard talk, riveting interviews, community updates, in-depth analysis. That's People, Power, and Politics. We tell it to you as it is. No holds barred. You are the people, you have the power. We bring you the politics. To listen to our show, be a guest, or to advertise, visit www.pppradio.nyc. That's www.pppradio.nyc.